Welcome to Honeybee. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell. Real stories of love, lies, and betrayal, where every truth stings. Let's begin. People say revenge is a dish best served cold, but I never set out to serve it all. Sometimes life simply delivers you the perfect moment to watch someone face the weight of their choices. My name is Tony, and this is what happened when my ex-girlfriend decided I didn't belong in the future she was building for herself after graduating college. Sylvia and I had been friends since childhood, growing up just 3 houses apart on the same street. We'd known each other since grade school. She was always a straight-A student, and I was the hands-on kid who preferred working with tools, oversitting with textbooks. We'd walk to school together, hang out all summer, and even as kids, she would talk about becoming a doctor one day. I, on the other hand, was fascinated by how things were made, spending my afternoons helping Uncle Danny with carpentry and basic construction projects. When we were 15, just after sophomore year, our friendship turned into dating. It felt natural. Our families had always joked that we'd end up together anyway. Sylvia was driven and ambitious, while I was practical, focused on building skills. That could get me solid work after school. Dating was simple and comfortable. The only real change was holding hands and saying goodnight with a kiss. Senior year came, and so did the hard reality of our different circumstances. Sylvia's parents had saved for her education since birth and had strong connections in the medical world. My family didn't have that kind of money. My dad worked in a factory, my mom cleaned houses, and there were 3 kids to support. Even with grants, loans, and scholarships, the total cost of tuition, books, and living expenses was out of reach. I wasn't resentful. It was just the financial truth. Instead of college, I made the logical choice to get to work right away. I took a low-paying construction job with a local contractor, willing to train me on the job. I started as a laborer, earning $12 an hour. It wasn't much, but I saved every penny, lived at home, drove an old truck, and avoided spending on anything unnecessary. While my friends partied at college, I woke up at 5 a.m. to be on site by 6. I learned to run equipment, read blueprints, and handle the tough physical work. The pay was small, but I could see a clear path to better wages. As my experience grew, Sylvia was laser-focused on becoming a doctor, and her parents fully supported her dream. But even with their help, medical school costs were astronomical. Tuition alone was around $60,000 a year, not including housing, books, and equipment. She got accepted into a solid program after her MCAT, but her financial aid package fell short. The gap was so big, she almost had to turn down the offer. When I realized money might cost her this chance, I made a choice that felt natural at the time, but it changed both our lives forever. I was deeply in love with Sylvia and couldn't stand by and watch her give up on her dream over something I could help fix. Since high school, I'd been saving for my dream of starting a construction business, for tools, a truck, and licenses. It wasn't a fortune, but it was everything I had earned through hard work. I sacrificed that dream and used my savings to help Sylvia cover her bills, thinking of it as an investment in our shared future. I believed once she became a doctor, we'd both benefit, and eventually I'd still be able to start my business. But what began as paying for books and rent quickly became something much bigger. Her school costs were enormous, and living in the city near her campus was expensive. I even co-signed her private student loans because her credit wasn't good enough, and her parents had already borrowed their limit. It was a massive risk. I was legally responsible for tens of thousands of dollars if she defaulted, but I trusted her completely. For 4 years, I worked overtime whenever I could, picked up weekend jobs, drove the same old truck, wore clothes until they were falling apart, and never bought anything unnecessary, just so Sylvia could chase her dream. When she finally graduated, I felt nothing but pride. All the years of hard work, sacrifice, and faith in our future felt worth it. Her parents threw a big graduation party. Family came from out of town, and her classmates celebrated with her. I was proud to stand beside her, knowing I'd helped make this possible. But that night, Sylvia crushed me. As I returned from the bathroom, I overheard her talking with her family. She told them she was planning to leave me. Now that she was a doctor, she said, word for word, "I need someone who matches my new life. No offense, but a construction worker isn't it?" She talked about wanting to date other doctors or people who understood her world. When she turned and saw me standing there, she froze, realizing I had heard everything. The room went silent. I didn't yell. I didn't make a scene. I smiled, raised my glass, and said, "May success bring you everything you deserve." Then I congratulated her parents and walked out. She never called, never texted, never explained. After years of love and sacrifice, she vanished from my life without a word. A week later, I got a call, not from Sylvia, but from the loan verification office. As her co-signer, they needed my documents and confirmation for her licensing process. Without it, her medical license and residency placement were on hold. For the first time, Sylvia needed me, and I didn't rush to help. At first, she sent casual texts. "Hey, I think you got a call from the board. Can you get back to them?" Then came anxious ones. "This is urgent. My license is on hold." Then daily phone calls, her tone going from polite to panicked. I stayed silent. Every hour I didn't respond was another hour of fear for her. Her entire career was hanging in limbo after days of silence. I finally picked up and said, "You said you didn't need me because I'm just a construction worker. What changed?" She begged me to cooperate, claimed the party conversation was a joke, promised she would explain later. But I stayed calm. I told her I'd help, only after we signed a legal agreement for her to repay every dollar I'd spent supporting her through school. She agreed immediately. She had no other choice. My lawyer calculated everything I had contributed over 4 years, plus fair interest. It was a significant amount. She signed the repayment agreement. Then I disappeared again. I ignored her calls, missed the deadlines, and let her scramble to find another solution. When she realized what I had done, she sent angry messages. But I didn't care. I had her signature. Months later, when the first payment date came, she refused to pay, arguing that I hadn't fulfilled my part by helping her license. But legally, the contract stood. The court enforced the payments, and Sylvia had no choice but to comply. If she defaulted, the court could garnish her wages, freeze her accounts, or seize assets. Now, every month, money from Sylvia goes directly toward funding the business I once had to put on hold. I'm finally building the life I wanted without her. I'm not bitter. If anything, I'm thankful. I learned that sacrificing your dreams for someone who sees you as temporary only ends in pain. Sylvia thought she could use me and walk away. Now she's reminded of me every month when she makes that payment. Sometimes the best revenge isn't shouting or getting even. It's living well and letting people face the consequences of how they treated you.